Hey, John,
Hi, Rick.
are you the ringmaster tonight?
No, that'd be Ann. I put together the PowerPoint though.
Okay. Well, I hope it goes well and that we get good word of mouth among these unit people. They're the audience that matters.
They're the ones who make scouting happen.
Yep. Ann, is that you looking very studious there? I guess so.
We'll get started in about another 5 minutes. Give some people a chance to get on.
How many are you expecting, John?
About 15 registered,
Okay.
and there's about another 15 for our second webinar next week. It's just now 7 o'clock. We'll get started in 2 minutes. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, can you see the PowerPoint that's up?
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect. So I asked for you to keep your microphone muted unless you're in a quiet place, and to type any questions that you may have in the chat box, and hold some discussion to the end too, where we have some time for questions and answering. We might have some more people join us, so I'll be running the tech side of it, and Ann Young, our Potawatomi District Cub Scout Vice Chair, is your host for tonight. I'll be covering some topics, and a couple of other volunteers will be covering topics, and we'll also be covering some topics. So these are just very brief overviews of topics. It's to give you a starting point and where to find some more information on a topic. You'll also be able to find someone where you can reach out and ask some more questions. Most of these topics can be found in depth on the council's new user website. So this is our internal website for people who are in scouting, and that's at NEIC/iHub, NEIC.org/iHub. On there are channels, and under each of the channels, you can find topics. So membership, popcorn, events, there's channels for everything in scouting. It's sort of set up a bit like a social media network.
You have to be a registered scouter to be on iHub or to register on iHub?
Anyone can be on iHub. You just need to create an account if you'd like to interact and save with the website. It's meant for our internal audience though, not an external audience. So someone who already is in scouting. So tonight, we're going to go through our new online registration and BeAScout pins, Scoutbook, membership growth tips during this time, how to hold meetings during COVID, council and PAC events that you can hold, and then we're going to touch briefly on popcorn. Popcorn's a pretty big topic, and there's a lot of changes this year, so we'll highlight a couple of those. I'll be starting with our new online registration and how to set up your BeAScout pin. So when the public view of BeAScout, and it's a website, is BeAScout.org, is when a parent Googles scouting, the National Boy Scouts of America buys ads to direct them to BeAScout.org. So if they're Googling it, or if they have a search history that would make Google think that they would like scouting, they're going to be directed to this website. So it's important to have this pin updated. I'll show you what that looks like on the next page. This is also where the public can sign up to be a scout. And new this year is there's not a cash option to pay, be a credit or debit card right away. So when someone Googles it, it looks like this page right here. The PAC 231 does not have their online application set up. As you can see, they don't have the Apply Now button, but they do have their PIN set up. So you can see where they meet and who their contact is and their information, and what time they meet. And you can request more information, and that sends a message to council and to the PAC that you would like more information. Below that is a PAC 673, does accept online applications, so they have the Apply Now button, and they have requesting more information. So a new person could do either of those right away. If a new person wants to join, they could click that button and join that night. When they click that button to apply, they get sent to this page. and they'll get to decide youth or adult. So let's say we're a youth, we click start, and it sends you to a page that's just like being on Amazon or signing up for any sport anywhere else. First page collects youth information, second page collects parent guardian information, third one is some legal stuff you have to agree to, and then you check out and pay. So it's very simple, very straightforward. So for the user, for the public, when they're Googling scouting, or if you set up your page to accept online applications, this is what they'll see, and this is probably the best way to get people to join during this time. So that's why I'm showing you this option here. So for your key leader view, so this would be the backside of it on my.scouting. It's under organization manager on my.scouting.org. This is when your Cub Master, committee chair, or charter org rep looks at it. So under organization manager, you'll click unit pin. It'll bring you to a page that sort of looks like this. And then you have options here. You can appear on BeAScout.org. Those are a toggle. You want to say yes, and then allow people to apply online. You'll have that toggle there. And then on the right side of the page, you decide what you want to display online. So if your main contact doesn't want their phone number online, like this scout leader, you can turn that off. Also important, especially this year, is there's this additional unit information, is to update that. Many units will not be meeting in their normal spot. Still say what schools you serve, but you might want to put something time specific into that additional unit information. If you scroll down below this, you can adjust where the actual pin is on the website if you need to adjust that. Outside of setting up your unit pin, when someone applies, you'll have to manage that application and accept it online. So this is for your Cub Masters committee chair and charter org representatives to respond to invitations, which is just someone who wants more information, and applications, someone who's paid and applied to be in your pack. New just yesterday is charter organization representatives may designate a delegate to accept adult applications. Only works online, but the charter organization goes in on their end and designates a delegate. We'll get instruction. I don't have instructions to this yet because I just found out it's a new thing came out yesterday. So I just added that. Under member manager is where you're gonna find this on my.scouting.org. So this is what it looks like when you log in. On the left side, you'll have applications, invitations. So if it's an application, someone's applying invitation, someone just wants more information. And down here is a QR link that will send people to your PAC's landing page on BeAScout.org. And there's also a regular link. This PAC, PAC 10, does not have any open applications, and they have 3 closed invitations. So they don't have anything to follow up on. This landing page right here will tell you what a PAC needs to follow up on and to click through to accept it. So I'm going to pass this on. I believe we have Brian or Chuck or Chris to speak a bit about Scoutbook.
I think it's Chris. Chris? Chris? I guess not. Okay, can we come back to this, John?
Yeah, we can come back to Scoutbook.
Yeah, because I don't see anybody else out there yet.
I believe Russ is on the line with us here too. So I put a note in here to include Russ if you'd like to share a bit once we go through some membership growth tips. There's a lot of new things from the membership committee. We're hoping that PACs start their membership efforts early in August instead of mid to late September, because as parents get into this year, it's going to be more and more difficult to get much bandwidth out there for parents. We're going to have to consider joining nights without school access. I know I went through every school in our district, and most of them have some type of note saying they're not even allowing parents inside the building in most cases. So there's not going to be much school access for joining nights. So there's a couple of options through that. And one of the best ones we can do now is online registration and online recruiting. I just showed you how to go through with online registration through BeAScout pins and how to manage the backside of that. Online recruiting, we're going to touch on in a couple of ways that you can do that. One of our new ideas, we're recording a video for it on how to do it next Tuesday, is a drive-through recruiting event. This is where you pick a prominent parking lot, either at a school or a church that has a lot of traffic that goes nearby. You want to put yard signs up out the wazoo all around it a couple days before. Get the word out through your parents' Facebook groups, PTA groups on Facebook. And let them know that you can do a contactless drive-through recruitment. So it'd be just like a station method recruitment where someone would come in, get a nice introduction through the car window of how to do it at 6 feet apart with masks on. You'd hand an application through and they would have, flash their headlights and have their application and check picked up at the end. You could also direct them to BeAScout.org there. There's a lot of ways you could do that. That's something that I would like to talk about in our Q&A if you have any ideas on that too, and we'll share some ideas on that. We also offer Facebook geofencing. So if you have a recruitment event, either a drive-through or in a park, we can geofence that area. So a geographic area would have advertisements sent to them. Also recommending virtual recruitment nights, which can be held a lot like this, where you could have a Q&A for parents. You drive them to sign up on BeAScout.org, and then have your parents' meetings online on Zoom after. Part of the council marketing plan is heavily focusing on advertising. We have allocated a lot more money, almost twice as much as we normally do on advertising. And we're focusing that on social media ads. So we would like also for your unit to advertise your unit through social media, which might be a little bit more of a guerrilla method. Coming out over the next couple of weeks, we're working on it, is virtual den meeting support for all Cub Scouts and Weeblo adventures. And then also we can offer hometown unit correspondence. So if you're out there doing a service project, even it's like picking up trash, we can offer you how to do a press release about your service project to get that out there. And lastly is our Friends Follow Friends advertising. And I'm going to show you about that in the next slide. So this is a post that I made on Facebook as an example. We have this frame that you can print out and decorate. Tag Northeast Illinois Council either on Facebook or Instagram. Use hashtag friends follow friends. And if you have a young person doing this, someone under 18 years old, they'll be entered to win a Wii. Obviously, if the person's under, I don't believe if it's 12 or 13, whatever the age it is for Facebook, if mom, dad, grandma, whoever would like to post a picture with them with the frame, that's how to do that. And we're going through, and the contest rules are there too. So you can find the frame on NEIC.org/FFF. So friends follow friends. And another thing that we're pushing through ads, so this is what we've already been advertising this for about 15 days now. A little longer than that is our Cub Scout starter kit. Through August 1st, and then it's going to be more after that due to membership fees, is if a person pays $90 and joins scouting through the link that you see on the screen, they'll get access to backyard scouting, which is a whole bunch of activities that they can do at home in their backyard. And it's not just sitting on Zoom meetings, they're hands-on activities that they can do. They also get their handbook, they get a neckerchief and slide, and then they get their membership paid through the end of the year too. So you get that package deal, and to a new parent, it feels like they're buying something right away. Because they're getting their handbook, their neckerchief and slide, and that product. When they apply to this, we will help place them into a unit or into a pack that's close to where they live.
Okay, this is Chris. Are you there? Chris, I see him out there.
So, John, before we move on from membership, can I add just a couple quick things?
Go ahead.
I thought your overview was wonderful. Just a couple quick things. You may have noticed in John's demo, there was this strange looking thing that was a QR code. If you don't know what a QR code is, it's kind of a form of barcode, okay? And that is a great thing for units to be able to their promotion materials. Imagine you're social distancing with a parent in a drive-in registration event. All you need is a big piece of paper with the QR code on it, okay? And the parent could just take a picture with their phone. It will go directly to the unit application. It's a great way to do it. Another thing is when we talk about posting things for your unit, share it out. So our experience last year showed that, yes, we can geofence for you, and we're very interested in doing that. And I'm very interested in all the professionals are very interested in promoting your unit and specifically your joining events. What we need you to do, though, that we just cannot do for you is share that information out, okay? We need you to share it on social media, ask your parents to share it with their friends, their sphere, the people that they know, their friends on Facebook, their followers on Instagram, and so forth. That's really critical. And also, when we talk about Cub Scout Starter Kit here, you can notice that it says #1 at-home camp. Where that comes from is, Parade Magazine rated 45 at-home summer do-it-yourself camps. And they rated Boy Scouts of America #1 for this. So that's pretty good. And, those are just some of the highlights that you might think about as you're thinking about moving membership forward this summer for your pack. Okay? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Chris is there and I don't see him. Chris, are you still there?
I said, Brian's here. And I think he could share a little bit about
Okay.
Scoutbook if he's able to.
Brian? I don't want to get too far ahead. Okay, I don't think anyone wants to do it. Okay, hello, my name is Ann. I'm going to talk to you about holding meetings during the, I call it CV-19, COVID-19, however you want to do it, whatever. We are in a different world. So as John was mentioning that, you know, most of the schools, I'm in District 34 and 225, they are not allowing us into the schools, no matter what, even in small groups. So we have to think of other ways on doing this. How can we do it? I had a meeting with my unit last night and we were talking about this. We lost our home. We don't have a home right now, so we're trying to find one. How can you find a home? Some of the churches, maybe the VFWs are allowing you to hold meetings there. Maybe not in a group of 50, but you need to do a smaller group. An idea is maybe splitting up your units. And if you have, say 50 kids, you want to maybe do 15 one week, 15 another week, and vice versa, however you want to do it. That's the way of doing it. Another way of maybe is holding one meeting a month outside and doing the rest of your meetings in Zoom. With the Cub Scouts, it's different now, unlike with the Boy Scouts. Cub Scouts, the parents can work with the scout and sign off on some of the activities that they have completed. And the den leader will approve it through Scoutbook and say, yes, they've completed all the requirements that they need to do. Another thing to do is think of activities that you can do outside in groups. In smaller groups, of course, social distancing, masks are required. My other thought would be bring hand sanitizer with you, a big bottle of it, so everyone can wash their hands as they're going along. It's just, with the Cub Scouts, the parents have to be there. So it's more common that the parents are gonna watch their scout and making sure they're doing safety protocols. Think of activities that you can do outside to keep the group together. One of the things that we thought of last night is hikes. Do a little mini hike outside. The forest preserves are open. We live in Glenview, so we got Gallery Park. Think of things you can do out there. Maybe a little soccer game going on, or maybe a little fishing or hiking. Just sitting around in a circle. I've seen this around where they put little circles out there, and that's where the scout sits, and you talk about what's going on. Of course, we live in Chicago, so you never know what the weather's going to be like. So you want to start thinking of something like that. Also, you want to make sure wherever you meet, you follow their policy, their rules, or how they want everything done. The other thing that you might want to think about is maybe holding one den meeting a week for each group, and the Cub Master comes to that and zooms into it, and just to check on everybody, make sure that they're fine, they're okay, and they're doing what they need. Maybe they need some help. How is the council, the district, how can we help you to get your unit going and keep them active? Now that there's been such a big gap, we want to make sure that we can reel those kids back into scouting and keep them having fun, knowing that, hey, you know, even though we're not meeting together, you're still meeting together by Zoom or outside. So just ideas. If anyone can think of anything, how they can do other activities, keeping the packs together, please let us know so we can pass out the information and share it. Okay. Council and pack events. John and I are going to share this one together. Council and pack events. Though we're in a new norm, things have canceled. A lot of events have canceled out there. So how do we keep them going? We're very fortunate. Our council has a couple campsites that we have, and we can utilize that. Excuse us. One of the campsites is Camp Acaro. There's camping you can do there. There's activities you can do there. Is it, I'm sorry, can someone correct me? Is it Campground or Camp Acaro that has the new bike track and stuff?
Campground has the bike track. O'Carroll, we're doing local adventures is what we're calling it, weekends. You can sign up to do shooting sports, so archery or BB guns, or fishing. And then it's all provided for you. So you have a prepackaged event. You can kind of just sign up and go. We're going to be continuing those through the fall, and it's limited. It's capped how many are a group, and it's an morning and afternoon group. Also there, you can, as a family or a den, there's canoes, kayaks, fishing, bikes that can be borrowed, and then campsites. You can still do family camping there.
One of the other things we want to make sure that everyone understands, the council's #1 priority is safety, to make sure that these scouts and the adult leaders are safe. So when you rent out that camp for that day, that morning, it's only for you. You're the only one who's going to use it. And John, correct me, right? It's going to be a 7-day back between each event.
Yeah.
With the equipment.
Yeah, the equipment is, so say you rented canoes, you'd be the only rental for that weekend. So it would sit throughout the week until the next person rents it. So you have, what is that, 5-6 days between people. Campsites, if you had a campsite, there's multiple campsites on property. The only shared facility would be a bathroom.
And if you want more information about camping, doing some of these camp rentals, contact Debbie at the office and she'll be more than happy to help you book your event. A Camp Acaro, it's close to home. It's what, about 45 minutes away, an hour, if that, depending on where you live. Very close. Campground, Wilmette, Wisconsin. Unfortunately, we've come out with the new I don't know, city law, state law, whatever, that you have to quarantine for if you've gone over there, but it's a 24-hour period. So you don't have to do it 24 hours. You can do it, just a day event, and then come back. You don't have to quarantine because you're not there for 24 hours. So keep that in mind. This is something that the council has really put a lot of effort in to help keep everything going, and the canoeing and the kayaking and the bike track. I saw some pictures of that. This is what kids want to do. They want to do this. So it might be an inconvenience on some of the parents. Well, I really don't want to do, but you know what? It keeps the guys active and it keeps them involved in scouting. I have nothing else on that. John, do you have anything else?
I think that's going to be our main topic for our Q&A. So we'll move through the rest of the agenda here.
Right. Just one other thing, the Cubmobile that we do have in, I just wrote it down, in October, still subject to change at any time. And once we get that information, we'll definitely let you know. Unfortunately, boot camp has been suspended. Okay. Chris, are you back with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, like this is my third computer, so I don't know what was going on, but I'm here now. Okay, so here to talk about Scoutbook. I was planning on presenting next week, but I'll go ahead. I have had a chance to go over some things with Brian and give you the presentation as best I can. So what I was hoping to hear from the crowd, anybody that has any experience in Scoutbook at all, and if they were able to comment and describe, there's just two main platforms that are in use right now. There's I'll call it the Scoutbook Traditional, which the troops and packs use, and then there's also the newest thing that's supposed to save the dens and the den leaders and also the pack. A lot of times it's called Den Leader Experience. So can anybody kind of like chime in and say, what are they using and what would they like to know? And then after that, I'm just going to go into a real broad overview, like only 3, 4, 5 minutes, right, John? Right, Ann?
Yes.
Right.
We'll even be
Okay.
nice. We'll give you 5.
Okay. So anybody have any comments on their usage of the product, or do they just want me to talk about it?
Hi, Chris. This is Matt Morgan.
Yeah.
I think I've only used the traditional, and so I guess I'm curious to know what the main differences are between traditional and the Den Leader experience.
Okay. Well, I want to start off by saying that you do need to, if you're going to use the Den Leader experience for the packs, you're going to need to be able to use both. Okay. But what the Den Leader experience does very, very well right now, let's say, if we're going to talk about how you're going to be able to save time as a Den Leader, it's like having a library in your palm, you know, like in your handheld phone, because you have the best attempt at the professionals and the volunteers over the last, like, let's say 2 years, be trying to put the program for Cub Scouts, you know, right at your fingertips. And that's as far as excerpts from the handbooks themselves, you know, so when you, and also den meeting plans, and then also the Den Leader guides. So those are all available. Now that does mean though that the same way as you're walk into a library, you know, you don't immediately absorb everything you see. In the same way with the Den Leader experience, you know, the more time you put into it in terms of being able to navigate all the great program materials that's in there, you know, it's going to start to pay off. So that's the big time savings. Like there's a lot of things that you don't have to search for that you can find in the Den Leader experience. The other thing that it's really going to be very, very good at is helping the Den Leaders to take attendance. You know, once you have, now if we switch back to the Den Leader traditional, in there you set up, for a Boy Scout troop, you'll set up patrols, you know, but for a den, you're going to set up the boys that are in a particular den with the Den Leaders. Then once that is set up there, it's all transferred into the Den Leader experience. So a Den Leader can see all of the Cub Scouts that are in his den. And when they go over a meeting, he simply checks off really who isn't there. You know, it just takes a matter of seconds, and then, you know, he clicks on a box, and then so the attendance is done. And that could even be done by a parent. So I know one of the big things that are, let's say, learning curve things for a new Den Leader is the program and managing the kids. And so it does that like very, very, very well. Now, then the next thing it does is it gives you at least a suggestion on den meetings for the entire year for all the ranks. You know, and it really kind of comes down to, you have a proposed 2 den meetings for each adventure. And, you know, you could piggyback those on top of one another. And the key things are in there, and that's where the excerpts are from the handbooks. Or you can go ahead and like skip over things that are extra. So Matt, does that help?
Yes, it does. I haven't had a need to look at the Den Leaders. I was more thinking of fielding questions that will, I'm sure, come from my Den Leaders. So that overview was helpful.
Okay, and what Brian and I have been working on, because I've gone through actually 4 cycles with Den Leaders, and, you know, in terms of advancing the Scouts, setting up new schedules within like 3 different packs in Evanston. So I've been able to spend a lot of hours, you know, working with it the way I would as a Cub Master, or working with it with a Den Leader. And there's been 3 Den Leaders that I've been able to work closely with, you know, to get their feedback as well. So the reason why I say that is Brian and I would really like to encourage you not only to bring it up to your Den Leaders, but have them contact us to help them get through the learning curve, you know, to where there's a payoff in time savings really very quickly.
Chris, you read my mind. Thank you.
Yeah, so that can go to either me, or that can go to Brian. And what Brian and I have done, and it's an estimate of at least like 30 to 40 hours, is we've Zoomed each other, and we've had a tablet and we've had a laptop. And then, so we have devices that are logged into the traditional Scoutbook and the Den Leader experience. And we've made changes, and see how amazingly a lot of the changes happen instantly. You know, so it's really quite impressive when you see the national management that's working, and in many, many ways, exactly the way it should. And it's, and I have a lot of respect for all the people that have put this together. And, you know, that this was only first available to use a year ago. And I think it's come so far compared to a year ago. And I'm really hoping that we can use it, but I do think it's really important to get the Den leaders where there's a time savings, like very quickly. You know, if they have to spend too much time in it, that's not good. So that's what
Yeah.
Brian and I have identified as one of our like very important goals.
That's where my pack is right now. Is I've been using it since it became free. I see the value, but I'm having a tough time getting over my den's like resistance to embracing it, which is making it hard to adopt.
Okay, well, one of the first things that I'd suggest now, you know how the key 3 in a unit can allow access into the Scoutbook platform, you know, by identifying a key person. And Brian and I had discussed that, you know, if that was the case, you know, we could be in a position of potentially being able to log in, help them see what's there, you know, identify, you know, get the dens in shape and the den leaders in shape. And once you've done that, then you're at the first level that they can actually start using it at a den meeting, you know, where now here's the kicker though. If you're really going to try to use it live in a den meeting, which you could, just like this Zoom meeting right here, it's very clear that, you know, Ann and John are working together, you know, to provide the media and also provide the discussion. You have to have a similar kind of a thing. Like, so you can't have a den leader, you know, trying to also run the electronics. You know, so, but it would be very, very easy for a parent to either have a tablet or maybe even a projector and a laptop, because if you're able to do that, you'd be able to display the meeting plan, you know, like, you know what you're going to go over, and then you can bring up what's in the handbook, you know, right there. I mean, not that every meeting has a projector, and you don't always have the internet, but it's one of the things that would be kind of the pie in the sky goal that you look toward. Because a lot of these new parents, they want everything to be digital, and they don't necessarily want to have the books. And I know you're still going to have some traditional people that want the books, but still, this is a very good representation of trying to get to where a lot of the management tools are right there at your fingertips. So once again, because right now, coming on August, the den leaders will start to feel like they need to get control over what is the calendar that they're going to present for September, October, and November. And if they had this tool and they talk with us, they could get really pretty close, pretty fast, and in a very detailed way.
Chris, I think the words that you're looking for is it will make their position as a den leader easier by following some of the ideas and guides that they offer in Scoutbook.
Yes, and not only that, and this is pretty recent, the new videos that they just put out. And you know, I can do a screen share with this as I'll get it up at some point, maybe not right now, but a lot of the videos that were out there before were of the 15-minute to 20, 30, you know, maybe even an hour. And they've broken all those up into very good topical videos. And there's probably about 15, and it's in Scoutwire, because Brian and I, we knew we had to say exactly where it was. And what it is they're like 2 to 3 minutes each maximum. And so it's a micro topic such as take attendance, you know, schedule the meeting, you know, do before the meetings. And it really makes everything manageable in terms of figuring it out where you want to go and doing it pretty quickly. So in combination, like whatever help that they would like to get from Brian and I, but at the same time, the most current videos at Scoutwire are really, really good.
Chris, could I just step in here for a moment? We may have some PACs who have not heard about Scoutbook. That's possible. Some PACs that the record keeping they do is more of the pencil and paper than digital variety. And maybe it'd be quickly useful to say that Scoutbook is a database software suite that designed for troops and packs, that it is owned and offered free of charge by BSA to its units. And you can track membership, track advancement, and also communicate your advancement digitally to council when it's time to go get patches and whatnot. It's a great digital tool for keeping all your pack records.
Well, you can say that, but if you throw the Den Leader experience and the traditional Scoutbook together,
Mm-hmm.
that could be something that might be better received. That it's really two pieces. So, like, if you could think some packs are strong enough to have a strong committee and even a strong advancement chair. If you have a strong advancement chair in a pack, they're going to already know about the traditional Scoutbook, and they're also going to know how to use something else called Internet Advancement. So you have different platforms that a new Den Leader, you might want to just give them the Den Leader experience and say, this is made just for you to save time for you, and it's about the program and it's about the people. The rest of the interface in terms of advancement and all that is a little bit more detailed that I think is going to fall more on the committee side or an advancement chair side, because you're not going to have Den Leaders submitting advancement for the purposes of purchasing badges through the Den Leader experience. It just doesn't do that. Does my answer make sense there? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really more about the program content, the meetings, and the attendance.
Mm.
You know, but then once it's in there, it automatically goes to Scoutbook. You know, so, you know, let's say, and then when it's time to do the advancement, the way Den Leader experience and Scoutbook traditional and Internet Advancement talk to each other is very efficient. So even if you call them a database platforms in terms of plural, that's very, very accurate. And everything that you just said about it would be true, but you want to let them know that there's 3 platforms, and actually there's a couple other ones too, but we don't want to confuse them, because there's a parent only one, but we haven't run into a lot of usage on the parent only one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I could do a screen share if you guys want to see the Den Leaders experience, or you could cut me off and you could save that to the end. I mean, whatever you want.
Chris, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move on to the next event, the popcorn, and we'll get to your if they want to share something, we can do that in the Q&A. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Michelle?
Michelle isn't here, so I'm going to cover popcorn very quickly.
There you go.
We first I'd direct you to our NEIC website. It's just /popcorn. There's a PowerPoint on that website that highlights all the changes. It's about 30 slides long, and it's pretty easy to scroll through it and see what the changes are. I picked some of those changes out of that PowerPoint to highlight tonight. Next Wednesday, there's going to be a popcorn kickoff meeting. So I'd go to that link, neic.org/popcorn, and make sure you're signed up for popcorn if you haven't done that yet. And if you're signed up, you're already getting the emails that you need about the meetings that you need. Some of the changes, just so you know, that are happening with popcorn, due to COVID, Weaver, who makes Trails End popcorn, is having some challenges with their product lines and socially distancing their factory. So they've been straightforward with us and saying that they have some issues. So there's a lot of changes to products this year. You can look at Trails End's website to see what some of those things are. Also look at our popcorn link to see what those are. But be aware going in, there are some changes. For example, the 15 pack is now a 12 pack because it fits in with their other product lines. Because again, they're not allowed, they have to only have so many staff in their factory when they're doing this, so it has to match their other product lines. And there's some changes around butter, popcorn, and microwave. So take a look at that. Online sales are already live for Scouts. So a Scout that already has an account set up can go online and sell. They can sell directly on Facebook. They have a link that they can identify themselves with and sell directly. The app has been enhanced over last year. To buy popcorn from the app, I believe it was about 12 clicks last year. Now it's about 7 clicks. So the number of steps to actually use the app has been cut down. One of the cool things is they have an online direct option where a Scout goes door to door, knocks on the neighbor's door and says that they're selling popcorn. You have a giant sign of saying what the options are. They pick what it is, and you text the person a populated cart. So they'll already have a cart of popcorn. They'll check out online, and that will be mailed to their house. So you can do in-person sales, which would be like an online sale, if that makes sense. So you can do that fully no contact. That would also work at a show and sell if you're able to do a show and sell, but it's looking like fewer and fewer places are allowing us to do show and sells. The prize program has changed a little bit. Amazon gift cards is the prize. You get 2 points, and it's a point system this year. And depending on what type of sale it is, you get points. So online direct, you get 2 points. Credit debit card sales in person, you get 1.5 points and 1 point for cash sale. The points will equal your level of Amazon gift card. That's a change. To keep up on all the changes, because there's been a lot of them, look on Facebook for a group. It's called Trails End Community. Look for it. Look for the one with a few thousand people in it, and that's the right one. There's also people who work for Trails End in the group who can answer questions, and they monitor it constantly. So if you want an answer in a couple of minutes, or you want to see what's going on, go there, and they'll be able to get some answers to you right away. They also have really good ideas. There's a lot of people showing their Scouts, posting pictures, selling door to door in socially distanced ways. So there's just some cool creative ideas that Scouters are trying on there, sharing them. The commission structure changed a little bit from last year. It was 33% for sales, and now it's 35%. But online sales remain at 30% commission. Initial orders have been limited. So if you do a physical product order, you're limited because we're not expecting folks to be selling as much physical product in hand as they did in years past due to fewer show and sells. And then also this year, no returns are being accepted. There's a lot of questions, a lot of materials that are answered on that website, so I'd direct you there again and remind you again of that meeting, the kickoff meeting next Wednesday. And with that, I'd like to thank Ann. This was all Ann's idea to put together a survival meeting to get some Cub Scout leaders together to brainstorm ideas for the fall and going into this crazy time. We'd like to just have some brainstorming of your thoughts and concerns about continuing scouting in the fall, and then maybe sharing that a little bit more about Scoutbook too, if you want to do that screen share too, after we have our conversation for a bit. So you can take yourself off mute now.
Hey, John, can I ask just one quick question? And just, it can be real fast of everybody just to even answer who's off of mute. Can we just find out who's, because I don't know everybody. I'm Reed Snyder. I'm the committee chair for Potawatomi. But who's from our Cub Packs that are there right now? I got to just tell us a Cub Pack unit. I just want to just hear who's listening in so far.
I'm Pack 28, Glencoe.
Hi, Laura.
Hi,
This
I'm
is
Mike.
Matt.
Matt, yep.
Matt Morgan from Pack 463.
I'm
Michael?
Angela from Pack 13,
Okay.
and I think Christy is also here from Pack 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here too. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you
Neil
all for
from
coming.
Pack 916.
Thanks, Neil.
Hi, this is Mike from 191 Antioch.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Well, this is Chris from Evanston Cub Scouts.
We know you, Chris.
Okay.
We know you. So I would just also like to make this recommendation and just this for everybody that's on, if you know somebody else that's Cub Scouting and a friend of somebody else in one of the other packs or anything, this is like next week, we're doing this next week. So tell a friend, invite them, because we're really trying to get the packs to be engaged. And some of our packs have been like, ever since COVID, they have just like popped away, and we're trying to get people back engaged with all the things that we got going on. So tell a friend, in fact, invite a friend for next week.
Yes. Just tell them, non-uniform event. You don't care what you drink at home and stuff. So, you know, you can, your luxury, if you want to sit in sweats or your pajamas or loungers, whatever you want to do. All you have to do is to show up and listen and put in some comments if you have any.
As you're sitting, pants are optional.
Well, that's true.
Laura had a question here about online registration. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question about earlier. So we just got access to like our Cub Masters account, so I haven't really been in there. But when you have either a new scout or an older scout register, how much money do put what your dues for your pack are, or does it automatically just do BSA plus NEIC? How much money does it collect?
Right now it's collecting, well, I'll just start with August 1st because it's going to change in the next couple days. So we'll start with August 1st. It's going to be collecting NEIC fees and national fees. Right now it's not able to collect unit fees. So maybe in that note box, when you have your BeAScout pin, that'd be a great spot to note how much your fees are. Also,
extra $4. Okay. And then my other question was about, you were talking about the geofencing. If we're having an event, how do we submit that to be geofenced? Because we do have a plan for our kickoff event.
let us know. Let me know. We can also support you with some yard signs, all that other traditional stuff, flyers, that type of stuff.
We will take all of that.
Just shoot me an email with the details of it and who's the contact.
Jonathan, do you want to, just to let everyone know what the fees would be if you join now to the end of the year, and then what 2021 fees will be?
Yes.
Things are going up.
They are going up. We're going to put out a communication from Nick, our scout executive, this next either Friday or Monday. He's going to put a video explaining all this. Starting in August 1st, there's a $25 first-time joiner fee for youth. So if you're new to scouting, you'd have to pay $25. The prorated national fee goes up to $66 from $60 for youth. And for adults, that's $41. And they do not need to pay that $25. That's just for youth. the Northeast Illinois Council has a $5 insurance fee, and we're expecting that to go up to $9. So there's an infographic. I'm going to stop my screen share so I can put the link in here that explains the fees. And now we can all see each other too.
Yay. Next up.
Can I ask a question, just a follow-up question about that?
Yeah.
So you're saying they're for 2020 dues, and there's a difference for 2021? Because we typically collect our dues in September for like the school year. We kind of run on a school year calendar. So are we going to have to do 2 sets of dues for 2020 and 2021?
No, our new price is going to go into effect August 1st. So
that there's nothing different for 2021 that they're going to have to pay.
no, I would expect probably another increase in 2021. Haven't been told that there is one, but always smart to expect one. But that won't go into effect until the following year. So if you paid up front through December, say you joined in September this year, and you had them pay their dues and their renewal, they'd be good through December 2021.
Wait, can I clarify that? Because I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
really confused by this. Like, normally, if somebody went to national right now, for sure they're going to pay 25, right? Everybody knows that. That's the joiner fee, first time. They're brand new.
Correct.
Okay. Then next, you described it as a prorated national fee, $66. Now, the way I thought you meant is that if they go on in September, and if they were going to pay for September through December, then it would be, 3/12 or 1/4 of the $66. But that's not what it's going to be, right? It's going to be that plus a full year, right? I mean, that's where I'm confused.
It depends. Every pack runs differently. So
No. That's not what I'm asking, because I'm asking if I direct somebody to be a scout and they're going to join scouting, tell me exactly how much they're going to have to pay on August 1st.
they're going to take their fees through the end of this year.
Just give me dollars and then time periods. Does that mean it's $25 plus $66? Or is it $25 plus 66 plus another amount? I mean, this, because I ran into somebody that already tried to register online, and he was so confused by the fees that I couldn't explain it to him.
Can I take a shot at this, Chris?
Sure, Rick.
It's going to be, and check me if I'm wrong, John, it's going to be $5.50 a month for however many months left in calendar year 2020. So if you're a new scout, it's going to be $25 plus $5.50 a month. And are you going to collect online the $5 insurance fee at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, then if I could, Rick, go back to what Christy asked. She said, we collect for the whole school year.
We do too.
Yeah. And so what that means is that if they go online and they pay, they have to be invoiced again by the PAC Jan 1 through May 30th or something like that.
It's going to depend on PACs. Christy, you know, what happens is when you have a scout joining this fall, the PAC pays registration fees for the new scouts to get them through the end of the calendar year. Then in October, November, we go through a process called rechartering, at which time everybody who is active in the program will renew their BSA membership for the following full calendar year. Okay. So let's say we had a boy who joined in September, and that's 4 months. So that's 4 times $5.50. And that's going to be what, $22?
Mm-hmm.
Plus $25 for new scouts,
One-time registration for new scouts, right?
yeah, plus $5. When we recharter, and the PAC has done this forever, we pay everybody's fees for the full following year. So that would be at recharter time, $66. No $25 because, you know, this is not a new scout anymore. You're just renewing. But $66 plus what John was saying was probably a $9 insurance fee. So that takes place, you know, in the fall. So when the PAC is looking at, well, what am I going to be paying national and what am I going to be paying council? You'll be paying 22 plus for a new scout, 25 plus 5 for the remainder of this year, and then an additional $75, $66 plus 9 that would cover all of calendar year 2021. Does that kind of make sense?
Christy,
then
does, does that make sense to Christy?
Yeah, that's the question.
And then whatever your charter fees will be to keep your unit running. So you might want to say an extra $25 or whatever you charge.
Yeah.
Does that
The only
make
thing,
sense?
Rick, you were saying, you know, you do the September to December is like what the equivalent of the $52.
Right.
But then when you recharter, you do for the whole year. So
Following,
that's September to December of 2021.
well, it'd be,
So are we double charging them, double billing them kind of a thing?
Well,
Or are we going to redo this again next September and then charge them again for September to December?
If I could just jump in for a second to talk about how the PAC is going to be cash negative. If you collect 52, okay, and it all goes, none of it goes to the PAC because you do it online and the PAC doesn't have any flow through. If you don't collect 75 more, you're out $75 as a PAC. You know, because the PAC is going to pay $75 for the scout after he's joined. The first time he joins, he does it online. He pays $52. The PAC doesn't see anything. Okay. If you don't collect $75, you're going to be negative, and you haven't even collected anything for program expenses.
yeah.
Okay. So
in our case, Christy, the PAC has managed this, you know, every year through whatever their activity fee has been. And I don't know what we've been charging recently in 13. What was it this past year, Christy, when you were registered? $125 or whatever?
Yeah, it was 125.
Yeah. So that would have included both for new boys, that would have included however much the fee was for the remainder of the calendar year, plus the fee for the full following year. So, you know, the PAC may want to consider something more than 125. Where it gets confusing, guys, for our PAC, we haven't done online registration. So when we've collected fees, we collect fees and the PAC has paid registration fees for the boys, not individual parents.
We've done a few online, and I've purposely pointed them to the cash option so that we could collect and take care of the payment. Since that's being removed, I'm going to have to get a little bit more clever with my math.
Mm-hmm.
We've been collecting for the books, the neckerchief slide, the hat, the belt loops, and all the patches that they could possibly earn in a year
As part of your annual fee.
as part of the annual fee. It's all inclusive, and it comes to about $250 per child.
Okay.
The way you did it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that handled handbooks and everything. There's a lot of different ways you can bundle us through.
Yeah.
You know, Christy, and I think when the PAC committee gets together, that's going to be the first order of business, is to calculate what your fee is going to be and how extensively you want to use online registration this year, as opposed to where the families are going to pay those BSA fees directly, or whether the PAC wants to, as it's done in the past, collect from the families, and then the PAC pays the registration fees as a group.
Do other PACs typically offer like the hat, the neckerchief, the slide, the book, all that included? Because I know like we in the past have had them, the Scout store, come to school on the first day of school and sell all these things. Well, obviously we can't do that anymore. So I'm wondering if we can.
We've been doing this for the last 10 years.
Yeah, we bundle them.
So I'm just wondering, that might be something that we include as an option, even a second option if they, a lot of people, we do a lot of hand-me-downs of uniforms and things like that, but
Yeah.
that could be a second option that if you choose to buy the book, the shirt, the neckerchief, the hat, all that kind of stuff, you could have that as a second bundled option.
You might consider is use the Cub Scout starter kit.
Yeah.
New parents to the Cub Scout starter kit. It's intended to be a much simpler way for parents to sign their kid up and get started. We will be changing the price of it monthly, so there's going to be no need for calculations in terms of what the proration is and so on and so forth. Christy, I understand that in your instance you have some calendar issue. Okay, I get that, but the long story short is that if you use that, that's a good way to manage that process, and then it makes it much easier to also explain to the parent that the dues, you can call it dues or activity fee or whatever you want to call it, goes for the patches, goes for the fun things that the PAC is going to do, activities, however you split that out. But that's why we made that, so that it would be much easier for parents to sign up and much easier for PACs to just offload that conversation onto the council online store.
Can you clarify again what's in the starter kit? It's the handbook, the shirt, the neckerchief.
Everything but the shirt.
Let me do it.
Oh, everything but the shirt. Okay.
Right, no shirt. Okay, so it is the so what we're actually charging right now today is $70 because of how backyard scouting is structured. We invite them to add it on for $20. Okay, that's where the $90 comes from. They get the handbook, the neckerchief and slide, and so forth. Obviously, on August 1st, the reason it goes up to $120 is the increase in insurance and the $25 new member fee. Okay, but we will be managing that on a monthly basis, changing the proration. So I would, that's why I think that's a good thing. And then it is mailed to, priority mail to the parent. So the nice thing about this is it gives the kid swag, gives the kid a way to be involved right away. And because it includes backyard scouting, it's an easy way to get the child and the parent integrated into scouting right away without worry, frankly, as to whether or not your PAC is meeting or have they formed a den yet or what have you. It's intended to be kind of a fast start for any kid to join Cub Scouts.
And I'm sorry, this may sound like kind of repetitive, but so that is only the membership fee for 2020, correct? So it's not like, again, maybe our PAC is different because we do it by the school calendar, the school calendar, not the calendar year, but this would only be in that $120 is the membership fee solely for 2020. So it's only for 4 months.
That is exactly right. Yes. Yeah.
Christie, we can go over that in more detail when the PAC has its leaders meeting, but you raise a whole bunch of issues that have to be solved up front to arrive at that, whatever that price number is going to be.
Yep, we'll do that offline, Rich. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, because we definitely need to make those decisions.
Yep.
We had a question from Michael about outdoor den meetings and stuff. Michael, do you have any, what were you looking for?
Well, what I'm asking is, since we're basically locked out of the schools and our usual meeting places for dens, we're trying to establish a way to meet outdoors, like a park or forest preserve or something like that, and get our den meetings going, and possibly double up until the foul weather hits. So instead of two meetings per adventure, we may have to do and try to double up the meetings. So instead of maybe 1 hour to go 2 hours,
Right.
or 1 hour or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So is
That-
there an objection to that, or because right now my pack is so freaking paranoid, I don't think any of them been outside.
Well, yeah, I know how you're feeling. We got some parents here in Glenview the same way. Remote learning and everything else. Like I said, what I would do is try to find a facility that maybe, I'm sorry, what town are you in?
Antioch.
Antioch, okay. I would try to maybe find a facility that maybe will be more open to having the scouts there, like maybe a warehouse, maybe a church, synagogue, something like that. Everyone's running into the same problem, is the schools just locked everybody out. And
Yeah, I mean, our schools locked us out.
yeah,
And we had 2 dens meeting at a senior center, and they locked us out of that one too, so.
right, yeah. Your park district, our park district is no, we can't do it in our park district, but I don't know what Antioch's park district is, what their rules. I think they're locked out. You're locked out of there too. It's just a new norm. The thing is Zoom meetings. I know a lot of these kids get tired because they're on Zoom all day, but it's almost like playing a video game. You're on there all day. And
Yeah, well, last year, to finish up the season, we were using the books and just going right from the book. So it put a lot of pressure on mom and dad and the kids to finish their adventures.
Right.
So without any leadership, it kind of got lost.
Right, exactly.
The last 2 adventures took almost 3 months.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from. I do. I know I've heard some dens have been holding meetings in their home, but a smaller group. You might, instead of having a den that has 10 kids, you might have to make more dens where there's 5 kids and space them out.
We have 3 dens that are 15 and larger.
See, you're really over.
Yeah.
So now you have to sit there and say, okay, guys, this is where it is. We're in the new. We have to break this 15 den up, and we have to make at least 3 dens out of it. And the parents have to realize this is like, and this is the one thing we discussed yesterday too at my meeting. It's like most of us are all working from home. So you can have your pack nights or your den meetings at 6 o'clock. You're at home. I mean, most people get off work at 5 o'clock, anywhere between 4 and 5. So you come over for an hour and you sit and you just isolate them in one room, and it's a mask, and you sit, no one can get up or go anywhere, and you just teach that elective or activity there.
Well, one of the things that we're looking at right now is this coming Saturday, we are going to be teaching our Webelos and Arrow Light how to do their walkabout by themselves.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
and we've come up with this little gadget that we found online. Some of the gentlemen might recognize this. Some of the older gentlemen might recognize this. Try to get it out of the bag. Big fingers, little pack. Okay. It's this thing. I don't know if anybody can see it, but it's basically a pace bead chain with 9 beads down here, 4 beads up here. It's considered a 5-kilometer bead count. We
Oh,
teach
okay.
the kids how to pace out 100 meters. So when you count out 100 meters, you pull down 1 bead.
Oh,
And
that's
the next 100 meters, you pull down the next one.
mm-hmm.
Now you have 1.6 kilometers per mile. So you do 4.8 beads. There's your 3 miles.
Oh my gosh, that's clever. That is great.
So we're challenging our scouts to do a full 5 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
So instead of 4.8, you're just talking about 2 more beads.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to teach them how to do it.
That's perfect. And you have going to have perfect weather this weekend to do it.
Yep.
Nice and cool. Just make sure they bring water bottles and
Yep.
a trail snack so they don't dehydrate or.
We're not going to do the whole thing. We're just going to teach them the technique
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
that they can do it on their own.
See, that's a great idea. That's something that we like your input on that and stuff, so we can pass that on to other units.
If you would like to come out, we're having it at Millennial Park. You can observe. I don't have enough for everybody. We're having it at Millennial Park and Lindenhurst.
Okay, I wish I could, but I'm redoing my house, so I have an
okay.
appointment on that. So I'm
Hey,
sorry.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
Yes.
I
I'm
did
only
that
2
before.
months on cabinet, so yes. But thank you very much for inviting us.
But everybody's welcome to come. I
Mhm.
got Felicia coming out to
Oh,
observe
okay.
it. My hope is to get the entire council to pick up this practice.
Oh, well, you're talking to Jonathan, is the right person you want to talk to and
And I
stuff.
want the whole council to pick this up and eventually go to national.
So that's something I did when I was youth in scouting. So
I mean, I got kids going on. Last year, I am the hiking chair.
Okay.
We have a hiking committee. This year, I had in 9 months' time, I got them hiking 25 miles.
Congratulations.
Okay. So, and I'm also the outdoor chair, which means I kind of help them get their outdoor activity patch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also the advancement chair, which I need to figure out how to use Scoutbook.
Chris Ursi's the person. Yes.
we have about 10 minutes left of time here. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So what other programmatic or program ideas or issues or concerns that are coming to mind?
Can I make a
Yeah, of
so
course.
I think that's fantastic. And for all of you leaders who have something very cool that your unit is doing, if you have something you'd like to share out, the council will let you do it Instagram takeover for a day.
Mhm.
Emily Primula is the director of communications, and she'll give you access to the council Instagram account for the day. And if you've got a parent who loves the social media, they love the Facebook, they love the gram, that is a great way for you to share that out. Okay?
Got it.
Yes. The best thing to do is get to iHub. I hope everyone has that downloaded on their cell phones, their technology or techno items, and it'll help you get through everything you need to do.
I'm curious, while we have some unit leaders here, what strategies are you all pursuing to get the kids to actually socially distance when they're with each other? One of the things that's been holding us back, especially some of our younger dens, from meeting this summer is the fact that, you know, you get 5, 7, 8-year-olds together in a room or in a field or, you know, really anywhere near each other, and it's very difficult to keep them from wrestling or playing tag or running around, and you know, getting within 6 feet of each other. So I'm just curious what other pack strategies and experiences are.
One of the things with the younger kids is they may not know what 6 feet looks like in a different setting. So at the beginning of the meeting, give some kind of physical demonstration of what 6 feet is. And we also, I saw this sign, it said, keep one cow length between you. Like, you know, make it fun, have different, like how much of a cow, how much of a car. We've had pool noodles, but sometimes they like to use those as swords. So that's not always the best, but giving them a visual reminder at the beginning of every meeting is really important. You could also use cones, like those traffic cones, to space out because they're really easy to move and not too expensive. So really something that they're not going to use as a weapon and something that's fun. But they definitely, with the younger kids, need a reminder at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, we also had a hike this past weekend. So we actually did it as a pack. And what I did was I split up the pack into 2 groups. I split it up into tigers and wolves, and then the bears, weebles, and AOL. And we had 2 different start times. And in the email that I put out to kick off the event, I asked each family to sit down and talk to each scout to make sure that they understood that the masks were required and that we needed to social distance. And it actually turned out great. I got multiple families came back and said, you know what, this worked out perfect. We didn't have any concerns about this. And the scouts did a great job, actually. I think having the parents talk to the scouts up front really helped out with that. And then I also made it available, you know, we as part of that email, we basically said, hey, we understand if there's families that don't want to participate because of the situation, and we encouraged them to do a hike on their own. And we had 3 or 4 families that did the hike at the same location, either before or after the event, and then a couple that went to a different location or did something else in their neighborhood. So those both worked out really well.
One of the things that we use to gauge the kids apart is a hiking staff. The hiking staff is only 5 feet, so if you can walk between the kid and not hit them, you know you got it.
Like a safety circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the problems. They are young kids, and we understand that. Believe it or not, I see it around high school kids are in groups, big gathering of groups and stuff. So how do you control the younger ones if the older ones are doing the wrong thing? But I think we, like Angela said, and Patrick and Neil, we just have to keep reinforcing that safety, safety, safety. These kids haven't been out. They just don't know. They haven't been in school since February, March, whenever they were out. And just keep, and just to tell them that we have to further precautions. We have to be face masks and full arm lengths apart, and just to make sure you don't touch anybody or anything that anybody else has touched. And again, reinforce your parents to help with your unit. That's one thing you have to get them involved to do with you.
That's tough.
It is. It's a tough thing, but you know what now?
Getting the parents involved is tough because they look to us as the
babysitting service
subject
of
matter
America.
experts.
Yeah.
They look to us as a subject matter experts, and that's the hard part. Is we're trying to recruit them to be subject matter experts too.
Right. And it is. It's like that in every unit. A lot of the parents come, and especially in the unit that I do, they just sit there and on their cell phones. Put the cell phones down, start paying attention, and help where your help is needed. And you just have to keep reinforcing it. There's nothing much more you can do.
No.
But we are coming to the end of this. Does anyone have any other questions or any concerns or any suggestions?
Hey, Ann, I'm going to say one thing, just
Please
for
do.
everybody's, this is a Zoom helpful point here. Jonathan has been putting things in the chat box, some of the links and so forth. If you open up the chat box, which is the, if you take your cursor down to the bottom, you see screen share. And if you already know this, I'm going to bore you with this, but you open up the chat box, and at the bottom of that chat box, it says, it might say 2, and there's a little file, and then there's 3 little dots on the very right-hand side. You click on that those 3 little dots, and it will say Save Chat. And you can then save all of those chats. It'll say Show in a folder, and you can open up a folder and drop that into wherever you want to. So that's one quick way of grabbing all of those links that Jonathan has basically thrown out, and it gives everybody a chance to just kind of save the chat box for them and review any questions or anything later. Just a Zoom tip for everybody.
The other thing too is that this, Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is being recorded, correct?
Yep, this is being recorded and next week's will be. So once next week's is done, I'll be sending the slide deck and a video to everyone. And for people who attended tonight, I'm sending you the slide deck.
Thank you. Is there anything else out there?
Now, did I understand that both O'Carroll and Crown are open for camping?
Yes.
Is that
Small groups.
and that's
Is it
weekend
small-
and
what's a small
overnight
group?
camping?
What's a small group?
10 or less.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Jonathan, correct me, that can be an overnight or a weekend camp out, correct?
Correct. It can be 1 or 2 nights.
Right. But remember, you follow this, the bylaws. Jonathan can maybe send this out. Everyone should have gotten some kind of information about the COVID-19 update phases 4 guideline from council. If you haven't, let Jonathan know and he can email that to you in a link and then you can print it out. But it gives you everything that you need to know about weekend campouts. The different things are different. I mean, double tenting and stuff. I mean, you're Cub Scouts, so you don't need to worry because they're going to sleep with their parents and stuff. But carpooling and everything else, all that information is in here, and it will help you guide you what you need to do.
Send that out with the tablet, John.
Yep, I'll send that out.
Send it out with the whole tablet.
Yep.
Does anyone have anything else?
Nope.
As Reed knows, we run on Ann's time, and it is 8:30. And I would like to say thank you very much, Jonathan, for getting the slide together and sending out the Zoom link. And thank you, everyone who attended.
And tell a friend for next week.
Yes, tell a friend. Tell the parents.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Pass it on.
Yes. Okay, on that note, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aye.
What is it, this thing?